have Rob and B on Mystic, currently chartering in the BVI. We discuss homeschooling at sea, Chagos in the Indian Ocean, and taking one for the team. This is Stephanie Lowrey, and you're listening to the Songs in the Sails podcast. So how are you guys doing today?
Very well.
Busy between charters, always a lot to do. You try and get a quick gap, charge the batteries, and then get ready for the next charter, which you're about to start doing now.
Where are you chartering at?
We're in the British Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
And we've been here. We're more than halfway through our third season here.
Yeah. Very good. And remind us what boat you're on.
So we're on a Mystic. She's a Bali, 54-foot Bali. Beautiful boat. Launched in 2020, late 2022, 23. Loving her. Yep.
Very good. Are you guys owner-operators or are you just crew? Just crew.
We're just crew.
Yep, yeah. We're crew. We're looking after someone else's boat.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it makes it a little more easier that way.
We don't have to pay for any repairs.
Right. So the stress is not as much.
Yeah. No, it's good. But we certainly treat her like our own. She's our home and we love her and look after her. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. All right. So how did you guys get started in this industry and what did you do before you got into yachting?
How are we going to answer these questions?
We'll have to do them one at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, you start. Because it's always his crazy ideas that I just got married almost 30 years ago and I'm still hanging in. I'm along for the ride here.
The first thing is, how did we get into this game? Dee and I have come from a yachting background. We've had our own yacht for many years. And our kids left home and went off to study overseas in Australia. And we decided that it's time to embark on a new career and a new life. And as the sea always sucks you back into what you enjoy doing, we decided to get back into yachting and with particular focus on charters. So that is really how we got into the game. And I've been in business all my life. I've had my own businesses, warehousing, distribution, which has been great and it's been very good to us. And it's afforded us opportunity to do a whole lot of wonderful things. And eventually it's here dies as the most careers wins. And we decided that enough of the business, the stresses and strains of business, let's get into the yachting. And here we are. We found ourselves in the BVR on board a beautiful yacht. Yeah.
And you said you've been doing this 3 seasons now?
Yeah.
Did you charter anyone before?
No, this is our first chartering. I was a nursing sister by training. I'm a midwife. That was my speciality. And I took a long sabbatical while I had children. And in that time, we sailed from South Africa to Australia on our own boat. Homeschooling is tough.
Yeah.
But we made it and we came back home to our own home and our children went back to school and they were reading really well. The Afrikaans and Zulu was maybe not as good, but they were all good. Yeah. And funny enough, I actually worked as a school nurse at that same school that they went to, which I had gone to as well in my school career. And then while that was happening, Rob he was getting more and more unhappy in his business, dealing with a lot of issues, theft and just, I want to say, corporate issues. And during COVID, we were separated from our children. They had gone to study in Australia to do their university degrees there. We didn't see our children for 3 long years, which was awful. Mm-hmm. And I think it just taught us that life is short and we needed to get on with living life. So we rented out our house, packed up our stuff, and I think we got pretty much the first job interview we went for and couldn't believe we were doing this, but we slotted right into it. We absolutely love having young colleagues. We've taken a few under our wing as our local children and we're loving it. It's hard work.
Yeah. So we toured around the United States as a family. You're talking about homeschool. And I homeschooled our boys, but I can't imagine doing that on the boat. Was it?
Yeah, it was hard.
Internet or did you just use books?
No, it was only grade 1, 2, and 3. So it was pretty much the basics, reading, writing, mathematics, and some languages. But it was really interesting because our children are 1 year apart at school, but almost 2 years apart in age. So it was very interesting to see how developmentally they're ready or they're not. And our son he gave us a hard time. He would much rather have fished for squid or gone snorkeling or bodyboarding than schooling. So that was a constant battle, but we got through it. Yeah, and I mean, it's a busy as well. You're really busy.
Yes.
Often we're awake all night. You literally making bread from scratch. There's no shops where we were. So it was a lot of work.
Yeah, I bet. Ours are 5 years apart. So I had one doing 6th grade work and one doing but I was bribing the younger one with cheese and grapes. Like, all right, come on, let's learn your words. Like, it's okay.
It's not easy. If anyone asks us what is the most difficult part, we spent almost 4 years sailing all around parts of the world. But if anyone says, what is the most difficult part of your sailing trip? We both go straight to schooling, homeschooling.
Yeah. And the discipline involved.
It's not. It's certainly not easy. Yeah.
Our children definitely benefited from it.
100%.
Just that being able to be immersed in what actually is going on in the world and with people and work and relation, like all kinds of things. They got like a whole world view versus sitting in a classroom every single day, or much like yours, they got to travel and go to different places and people. And so ours have sometimes a harder time. They're 20 and 15 now, but they have a harder time making friends sometimes because they're a little bit set apart and they're thinking, even though my 15-year-old's still such a kid at heart, which I love it. But
No, I agree. It was amazing. Their general knowledge was phenomenal, except for things like sports and our daughter really battled with times and dates. She couldn't tell the time because that was never an issue. And didn't even know that Christmas was the 25th of December because it just, we never wrote the date down every day. So they didn't really have a concept of the calendar so well. Yet they had incredible general knowledge, and they had genuine friends who were in their 70s, and they didn't realize that you were only allowed to be friends with people your own age. So those are the amazing kind of benefits that they got from it.
It's actually really good to hear that your child had a hard time with time, because sometimes, even now, my youngest will be like, what do you mean yesterday? Like yesterday, today, and tomorrow? Because we lived in the present. It just flowed there. He didn't know.
Exactly. And we were always there, so they didn't need to and plus we changed currencies every couple of weeks or months, so it was very difficult to use the Thai baht this week and the Malaysian dollar the next week, and they were too young for that. But there were some negatives, but by far overall the benefits. The positives were amazing.
How long from South Africa to Australia? Was it the full 4 years, or you broke that up intentionally?
No, so we left. The plan was to take a midlife sabbatical. I'd sold my business and bought a yacht, and we decided to take a 6 to 9 month break, really just to spend time with the kids and family and what have you. And after 9 months, we were in Tanzania, and I turned to B and I said, B, how do you feel? She says, I'm loving it. I said, so am I. Let's keep going. So that 6 to 9 month trip developed into almost a 4-year trip. So we spent almost 4 years on our yacht sailing predominantly across the east coast of Africa, the Indian Ocean, India, Thailand, Malaysia, through Indonesia, down to Australia. So that was the total period.
Thailand, but I can tell you, when you've been doing your own laundry in a bucket, including sheets and towels for a family of 4, that when you get to Thailand and hand in your laundry and it comes back perfectly wrapped in a little block that looks like it's been ironed, even if it hasn't, you're like, okay, we're staying here. And the food was amazing.
You want to hug your laundry?
Yeah, I did. I used to hug the laundry every time. And we stayed for a year in Thailand.
When we say a year, it was on and off. We would leave, go up to maybe India, the Andaman Islands or Myanmar or wherever it was, and then we would come back. So we used Thailand as our Southeast Asia base for the whole region, which was unbelievable.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's really neat.
So
I
yeah,
have aspirations of doing so. I want us to get our captain's license when our kids we have 3 years or so. I'm like, we should travel. Like
absolutely.
they're at that age where they have a lot of friends. They're in sports now. And so
It's hard at the moment.
It's not easy.
We did the right time.
I think we did the right time. And I think the experiences that our kids were exposed to in terms of culture, religion, nature, and all of that, it was invaluable. And I think they can look back and so that not many kids have the opportunity to climb volcanoes in Java and go diving in the Indian Ocean and Komodo dragons and trekking through the...
Yeah, everything.
Very cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, they're very lucky.
It also helps you be able to do what you're doing now with their different cultures and different clients that come aboard and all those things.
Sure. And even different foods, different, the fact that I love Asian food and I've traveled to Vietnam with my brother just to eat and cook, to be honest, and dishes from Thailand and things like that. It was amazing to live and exist in a place and be able to experience all those different food cultures as well.
Yeah. And I guess you probably built up good recipes too from all the places, collecting them along the way, I would think.
Yes, sometimes getting the ingredients, the authentic ingredients is quite a challenge. So, but I don't think we have to be completely authentic. I think it's more the flavor profiles, and because let's be honest, a lot of dishes are westernized, and that's okay. It's still a delicious Thai curry or whatever else. Right. Maybe you don't have fresh lime leaves. It's okay. Yeah. So.
My son, we were leaving the grocery store on Sunday and he was like, oh yeah, by the way, I need to make a South American meal and I have to take it tomorrow. And this was just Sunday. And I was like, you realize we just left the grocery store, right? Like you could have told me this while we were in there so I could get stuff. So we get home and I'm trying to whip something up for him and didn't have coriander. And so I'm like, just random things. So I'm trying to sub different stuff, trying to make a Brazilian curry for him. And I'm like, anyway, he said it turned out fine. I don't know.
Turned out fine.
And that's the thing. No one's really going to know unless they're from there.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on. So what does your day look like now as a captain and a chef?
I would start with the chef. Yeah. We pretty much get up at the same time around 6:30, and by 7:00 we have our first cup of coffee, which we would also make for any guests who are. But we are very fortunate. We have an amazing coffee machine with its own little milk fridge. So even if they get up at 5 in the morning, they can help themselves. And I would crack on with breakfast every day. I do a fruit platter. If there's anything to bake, I'd put that together and pop that in the oven and then make the breakfast, whatever the day's breakfast. Every day is a slightly different breakfast. And then the guests would eat and we'd clear up. We do a lot of washing up and clearing up and packing and unpacking of dishwashers together. And then I would move on to lunch prep, or depending on whether we're moving or not moving, dessert prep for the evening, for something that needs to go in the freezer. My day is pretty much solidly in the galley, obviously running out to help guests on and off the tender and chatting and offering things. But I spend, I would say, 90% of my day in the galley.
Yeah.
So
is your galley up or down? I don't remember.
It's up.
It is up. Okay.
And I've got a big fridge freezer, and I've now got 2 work areas. Before, our previous yacht we were on, a Bali 4.8, has a minute little prep area. So this is a huge upgrade, and I'm very happy in my galley.
Do you find it hard to be up with everyone else while you're trying to get things done?
It's a double-edged sword, absolutely. It is very distracting when people want to chat to you, and it's very hard to not get involved, but I am very personable, and I think that's part of our success is how much time we spend chatting, and we do a lot of entertaining of the guests. We've got a lot of life stories and funny stories or whatever it is. So we do spend a lot of time with the guests, there are times, for example, plating up time. If I'm plating up dinner, that's not a great time to ask me, what's your favorite cuisine to cook? It's not a good time. But for the rest of the time, you just chat and carry on with what you're up to. So there is a part of me that thinks, oh, it would be so much nicer and easier to be in a down galley. But then I think,
you'd be super isolated.
Isolated and not connected to the guests.
It's a double win. I don't know. For you?
Yeah.
Your day, how does your day go?
I think this game, the traditional roles of captain and chef, as we perceive them or know them to be, it's not like that. We might have 10 or 15% of traditional captain and respective chef roles, but there's a whole lot of overlap in the middle. Whereas a team, we have to work together. B's got to come outside and help me with be it lines or sails or anchor drop. And then similarly, I've got to be inside setting tables and doing a whole lot of stuff that complements her job. So there certainly is no clear divide between our responsibilities. We blend them all together, and we're always together doing something, whether I'm helping her, she's helping me. We're around.
The recipe for success is your teamwork. That really is.
Right. Agreed. Awesome. All right. What would you say is your favorite chartering destination? So I know you've chartered just in the BVI, but since you've been sailing around, like what is your favorite place to charter?
We've been to a few others.
We've done the Caribbean quite extensively. It's an interesting question because if we look at the BVIs certainly looks like the charter capital of the world. Almost, it is a very busy place. It has a lot to offer. The variety is here in terms of the different anchorages and what have you. So if I had to choose a place where I felt was an ideal charter destination, I would default to the BVIs. I think it has a lot to offer, having seen the other areas. I'm not saying they're not beautiful, they absolutely are. If I had to go wider and look at the rest of the world, not that we have actually done charters there, but have sailed, certainly the other places that would appeal. Again, we keep coming back to Thailand, a wonderful country. Indonesia had some beautiful places. The east coast of Africa, but pure charter by definition. I think we both agree that the BVIs has been a wonderful place and is a wonderful place.
And we have chartered in St. Martin and gone through Anguilla and Barts.
Bahamas, where there's a lot of places we've been to. But
we've seen a lot, but I think this is definitely a great place to do charter and to come and visit on charter.
Yeah. Okay. What is your favorite meal to make?
That's yours.
Well, that's definitely not Rob's answer. I would say, look, I love anything seafood, fish, shrimp, shellfish. I love dealing with anything seafood. But then surprisingly, these days I love making desserts as well. So I wouldn't say I have any one dish that's my favorite, but I definitely like fresh, clean, sort of the Asian flavors. I do love lime, zesty things, and lemon, citrus. Yeah, I would say more clean and vibrant and chili, garlic, all those things.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite meal? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
What's your favorite?
What's that salad you make? I always default to my...
it's a satay salad.
Satay noodle.
Anything chicken or pork, but I often do it with pork. And it's a peanutty salad, and it's super bright and vibrant. We always tease the guests, you've got to eat the rainbow today because it's just all the veggies.
It's spectacular. It really
looks good. It tastes good.
So that might be my favorite meal, and I think it is a crowd favorite as well amongst our guests. But without patronizing B here, her meals are fantastic. So I really, every meal that she produces, and I might eat it a number of times over a season. It's wonderful. And I do appreciate the Southeast Asia, the touch. That would be my favorite if you had to ask me.
Yeah. All right. Yep. What is your favorite dive or snorkel spot?
That would be yours.
Again, are we referring to the BVIs, I suppose? Because
wherever you want.
Yeah,
I mean, it can be BVI because we're just getting to know you. So you tell me whatever. Or
we
have snorkeled all over the world, and the places that stand out for us. There is a particular group of islands in the middle of the Indian Ocean called the Chagos archipelago. Diego Garcia may be well known to a lot of the Americans because it's a military base, but it's quite secretive. You don't know too much about it. We had the pleasure of spending 4 months there. It was Robinson Crusoe living. no one around, no one lives there. You can only get there by yacht, and it's only those yachties that travel across the Indian Ocean stop off at Chagos for almost a break in their journey. Being so isolated, the diving there was, quote me, off the charts. There's the coral, the fish. It was like
sharks. It was wild. Everything was huge and on a big scale. And
it was like swimming in an aquarium. It really was. So
schools of fish was amazing.
And we certainly privileged to be able to, again, go to a place like that. So then you come closer to home.
It's open to the public, though. There's no way to get to except on a yacht.
And then, so that was one. And then the Andaman Islands was another place that also, again, totally untouched and fantastic. Closer to home, you've got the African coastline. When we've dived, we've scuba dived and snorkeled a lot of that coastline. And so when we come to the BVRs, we tend to compare those type of places, and you can't really compare them from a latitude point of view. But in the BVRs, I always go back to the good old, the Indians. There's some really great places to explore in and around the Indians. And so that would be you want to go to the BVRs to go snorkeling? We'll take you to the Indians and we'll show you some fantastic spots in and around them.
Your little conch.
I've got it.
He manages to find a conch every time and show the guests, because they're really well camouflaged there. And the fact that Rob dives so deep means he can point it out to the guests and show them. And the tunnel, you get the really brave ones to swim through. So So those dives with the guests every time. He'll tell you it's for safety and security of the guests, but it's also so you can just get in the water.
I would be in the water all the time. I'd asked a friend of mine last season or so if he loved diving as much, and he said he didn't love it as much as he used to. He just does it because that's what the guests want to do. I don't think I could ever stop diving and loving it, even if it was the same place over and over again. I love it. It's always something different.
It's amazing what you maybe I didn't see the previous week and all of a sudden this week. And just take your time and just, I know it's not smell the roses, but get under the water and just explore. And it's amazing.
It really does force you to slow down, because if you don't slow down, you're going to miss a lot.
Absolutely.
And you just have to look straight in front of you and stop worrying about all the things.
Correct. Yeah, no, it's a wonderful.
Why Rob leads the dive too, to get people to slow down. I always say to them, when you swim over, if a big alien's UFO flew over us, we'd all run inside, do the same things. But after a while, we'd all come out to have a look at it. So just stick around and let the fish come out and carry on with their lives, and then you'll see a lot more. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. All right. What is your favorite activity on charter? Hold on. Let me see. Was that both of you? Is that both your favorite snorkel dive? Did you have something different?
No, the same.
No, same.
I don't get to snorkel as often, but
I do like to get out to the lesser known spots as well. So it's not easy on charter because you got guests who you're looking after their safety as well. But certainly on off days, we like to go out there and explore other areas for diving. So I enjoy that. Just going and seeking out new spots. It's amazing.
All right. So what's your favorite activity on charter?
Eating bees' food.
It's not packing in the dishwasher.
Mine certainly is the water. I think it's a clear cut. I like to be in the water, and not so much on top of the water, but in the water, diving and snorkeling is what I really enjoy doing. It has a zen to it, just to get away from what's the hustle and bustle and getting under the water. Right. Yep, that's quite easy for me.
Oh, I would probably have to say going to bed is my favorite.
After a long day,
14 and 16 hours.
What about your morning cup of coffee?
Yeah, that's also, but that's just to get me through the next 14 to 16 hours.
So do you like families, or do you like more of an active party or group? What do you like better?
It depends.
A bit of both.
You like to mix it up.
Joint family. Some teenagers are not the nicest creatures, but good. But we also do enjoy groups where there's couples who are friends. They tend to chat a lot. There's a lot of laughter. We had a great group of 8 recently there was so much laughter and banter and conversation, and so that's also good. It's not a favorite group of people, but we do love people who are open to everything, who want to see things. So if you say, oh, there's a big turtle, they want to see it. And not everyone's like that, but
Right.
yeah,
Very
those are our favorites, people who are happy and open to whatever is around them.
Yeah. All right. What is most interesting and unique about you as a crew?
That was so damn old compared to everyone else. No.
I think I'd like to reword that into life experiences. I think we've got a lot to offer, having a few years under the belt, but at the same time still being young, healthy, and energetic enough to offer any client whatever they'd want, diving and water sports and what have you. But I think our depth of life experiences is something that we've got on our side, and we tell a great story in terms of the entertainment of guests. They love to hear our stories. They love to hear about our sailing. And I've got a couple of great adventures on the mountains. And you tell these stories, and there's a wow factor, and there's all of a sudden there's a connect.
Right.
So I think that's our trump card.
I do think we connect very well. Most of the guests are older. And I thought maybe being older in this industry, because a lot of the crews are in their 20s and 30s, that it would be a disadvantage. But I actually think it's an advantage because we do connect very easily with our clients. And also I think we're very good at reading the room in a way and understanding people. And I might not be a professionally trained chef, but I think I'm very good at seeing what people want and then adapting along the way to what they want and changing things up for what they need or require or what they would prefer. So I think, being older and wiser has its perks.
Conclusion, I think the guests connect with us, and they connect with us well. And at the end of the trip is often tears of just having such a fulfilled and enjoyable holiday and connecting with us. And it's good for us. It makes us feel great when they leave with that type of feeling.
Yeah. There is something magical about being on a yacht and then having to leave. It's just, I don't want to go back.
I always remind people how happy their pets will be to see them, because people get quite upset about having to go and start telling us they're just going to stay. And then you remind them that their dog has been waiting for them for a week. So then they're like, oh.
Yeah, I should get home. All right. What is your favorite charter memory?
We've got a whole lot. The problem is that we've done a lot of charters. We had 23, 20, and 20 in terms of the so it's a lot of So I'm not making excuses for our
that's a lot.
You wouldn't say we 20. So I think a lot of the charters do blend into each other, and you look back, and there has to be a standout memory, be it good or be it bad. But generally speaking, and I know I'm sitting on the fence here, is that we've had wonderful experiences. Yes, we've had one or two that have just driven us to more drink than we should be drinking.
I've got like an absolute favorite. Just because there's always new ones. For example, this last charter, we had a young woman who did a few watercolors. And she was even her long-term boyfriend wasn't allowed to hug her, so she definitely didn't hug us when she left. But once she was on the ferry that was taking her, the fast boat that was taking her to the airport, she said, I left you a painting in the book. And she left us the most beautiful watercolor that she had done.
Wow.
And on the back, she had written a long poem. And that's really touching, because she never really came across as someone quite so deep, and she clearly was very moved by the whole experience, but she never really verbalized that. So it's what we say, it's such a pleasure to know that we have facilitated that kind of emotional moment for people.
We had repeat guests, and the first time they came along, we had one of those conch shells, and boys were outside blowing the conch and making a noise and disturbing the whole anchorage. And they came back a second time, the last Thanksgiving. And they brought a bugle with them, and they had engraved our names, Robin B to Robin B and what have you. And they presented us with this bugle. Wow. And of course, now, instead of having the conch shell, we had this bugle. So of course the anchorages had bugle noises all night.
So you're their favorite.
To give us an engraved bugle, I think we did.
We hit the bugle because we don't want people throwing eggs at our boat at night.
Anyway.
All right. So then what is your craziest guest story or craziest broker story, whichever one?
We've had a
We were
couple,
lots.
but this one was quite amusing. I'll just try and condense it. So we had, I won't say what profession, but we had a large group. There were other boats involved, and we had this older gent on board, and he liked my food. So the first couple of evenings, he was like, "Tap, thanks for the food," and it progressed to "thanks for the food," and then on about 6 or 7, he came in for a kiss to thank me for the food on the lips. So I turned to the side and he got me on the neck.
Oh, wow.
Which was, not quite what I had said.
Right.
Especially because I got goosebumps all down the side of my, and I said to Rob, "He just kissed me on the neck." And Rob said to me, "Take one for the team. Think about the tip." Huge shocker. Anyway, forward a few months, we have guests on board. One lady, she was quite well oiled by the evening. And as it was bedtime, I said to her, "Just pop downstairs and make sure the AC is set to the right temperature and everything's fine." She cornered him in the bedroom. And
did you tell him to take one for the team?
She told him how happy she was, that and how much she loved us and how delighted she was that she had chosen us, and asked him to give her a hug. So he did. And then on stepping back, she said, "Give me a kiss," and planted him one on the lips.
So I came upstairs and I said,
looking a bit shell-shocked, because her husband was at the top of the stairs and you had done nothing to encourage that behavior.
Right.
And he came up and said, also, I know the feeling, he was a bit shocked. He was like, "She just kissed me." I said, "Take one for the team."
Right? That's crazy.
So we find our moments to laugh.
Yeah, we do. We have to
laugh or cry.
Right. You have to do one or the other just to get through. Okay, so I guess we'll come to our last question. If you were stranded on an island, what is your music you would have to have, your drink, and your person if you were stranded?
Here's my person.
Okay, so that one's easy.
My album, I think, would have to be like one of those long playing, I'd go 80s mix with all the good stuff from the 80s, because I grew up with disco and Dire Straits and reggae, and all of those things must be included on that. And I don't know, if it's non-alcoholic, I'd go water, and alcoholic, probably white wine.
Yeah. Water would definitely be there. So you can pick anything else that you like. It's a non-negotiable. You would die without it.
No. It would be a glass of crispy white wine.
Yeah. I'd go straight to the G&T. If I want to be on a desert island, I want my G&T as the sun goes down, and playing in. You'd have B's music, which is 80s, which we're obviously both familiar with because it's our era. But we, being from South Africa, we don't know about country music. And we've all of a sudden learned a whole lot of country music and names of singers. And I think we've taken a liking to Kenny Chesney. So B would have her 80s music. I might have Kenny Chesney's Barefoot Radio going, drinking a G&T, glass of wine. And I think we would be pretty comfortable in each other's company.
Yes. We find the country lyrics pretty hysterical, and it's all quite new for us. Tequila makes her clothes fall off and all that stuff. It's fun. We're enjoying learning that, and the islands is the perfect place for having your bum on the sand, your toes in the water, a cold beer in your hand.
Yes. Very good. Awesome. I guess that's it. That hopefully wasn't too painful.
No, not really. I think the getting back to the life experiences, and we're talking about the entertaining clients in it. What do you call it? Unfortunate or fortunate experience to be in Mount Everest in 2015, when the earthquake happened and the subsequent avalanche took place, and I was caught in the midst of that. And I think I'm just now cutting back to what you said earlier about entertaining guests and the relationship and keeping them happy, enjoyable, and what's the right word? Entertained, I think it is. So we often tell these type of stories. These are stories that, we can tell you about our sailing around the world and everything that went with it. We can tell you about going to Everest and experience a near-death experience. And all of those events in life accumulate in being able to and tell great stories to a guest. So and it really is about entertainment. Let's be honest. We're in the hospitality game. We're about entertaining people, and I
Right.
think that's one of our superpowers that we can do just that.
Definitely. I think that's something that some people misunderstand about this. Is not just about driving a boat or
Right.
cooking.
Yeah,
I often say this is the decathlon of hospitality. You need to have a lot of skills to do this job, be it make
Right.
cocktails, scrub toilets, make beds, vacuum. There's a huge amount of different disciplines all wrapped up onto
Right.
one charter boat.
yeah, just to
So being entertaining and informative is very important.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we're running the decathlon, jumping, all that. I think
we are.
we're doing good.
Yeah, you sound like you're doing fantastic, staying very busy too. Levi had
Yeah.
something he wanted me to ask you. He was going to ask you for an example of one of your stories, and you just did.
Okay. Yeah. That was we've got a few. We just unfortunate.
Robert lived a very interesting A-type personality life, doing lots of things, pilot's license, we've scuba. Our first thing we did as a couple when we met, we got a scuba diving ticket. So I should have realized that things are going to always be adventurous, which is fine. It's been very interesting life living with Rob.
Yeah, at least it's not boring.
No,
Exactly.
never boring.
Never boring. Well, very good. But thank you guys so much for coming on.
Great. No, good. Hope you enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. We appreciate it. It was nice chatting.
Bye.
Yeah, take care. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Songs in the Sails podcast. We thrive because of listeners and viewers like you. Please like, subscribe, share, and leave us a review. If you have comments and questions, please send us an email, yachtcharters@songsinthesails.com. Now, come sail away.